Good afternoon, and welcome to the Town of North Hempstead swearing-in ceremony for Supervisor Judy Bosworth, for our Town Clerk Wayne Wink, for Angelo Ferrara as a councilman, for Lee Seaman as our councilwoman, and for Viviana Russell as our councilwoman. We would like to start by everybody standing, and at this time we have a presentation of the colors by the New York State Court officers.
Detail, post, colors.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing.
Oh, say, can you see by the town's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight. Oh, the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glare, their bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave? Oh, the land of free and the home of the brave.
Order. Please remain standing while we bring up Reverend Robert Romeo for the invocation.
Let us remember we are in God's presence. Gracious God, throughout all of history, your hand has been extended in blessing as you guide your people. We pray again for that hand to bless our president and our governor, to bless our federal and state legislatures, to bless all of our elected officials, most especially the members of our town, for our supervisor and the board. We pray you to give them a heart of justice and mercy, open themselves to the poor, to the voiceless, giving them a heart for all the people entrusted to their care. May their work bear fruit. May it give glory to our nation, our state, our county, and our town. We pray that those blessings may be continued as we, as a people, lift up our voices to you for freedom for all, for justice, for mercy and compassion. In a special way, we pray your blessing upon all those who are homeless, all those who struggle in this frigid weather, that the hearts of just and good people may reach out. Continue to bless us in all that we do, that in your name we may be glorified, that our nation and our world may continue to shine forth in the song of peace that was established by our forebears. We pray your blessing upon what we do, and most especially upon this deliberations today, that our supervisor and her board may continue to govern in the power of mercy and compassion. May God bless, defend, and protect the United States of America. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, and now we can all have a seat. I want to acknowledge the North Hempstead Veterans Advisory Committee for the presentation of the anthem, the Pledge of Allegiance, excuse me, and Valdalina Volokentvich, and that is the woman who sang the national anthem. So I want to acknowledge them both and thank them. Now I would like to acknowledge the distinguished guests that are in the audience this afternoon. Congressman Tom Swazi, excuse me. We could have got up together. New York State Controller Thomas DiNapoli. State Senator Elaine Phillips. Assemblyman Tony Dorso. Our newly elected County Executive Laura Corrin. Nassau County District Attorney Madeline Singas. Our newly elected County Controller Jack Shearman. We're going out of order, but I can keep going. North Hempstead Supervisor Laura Gillen. Oh, I did say North. I'm sorry. We switching roles? I'm sorry. No. Hempstead. That's what happens when you go out of order. I'm going by the people I'm looking at. Legislator Ellen Birnbaum. Legislator Delia Dirigi Witten. Legislator Arnold Drucker. Our newest and youngest legislator, Josh Lafazin. See, now's when I was supposed to say Town of Hempstead Supervisor Laura Gillen. And Town of Hempstead Clerk, Sylvia Cabana. Town of Hempstead Council Member, Dorothy Goodsby. Mayor Nora Hagerson from the village of Baxter Estates. Mayor Marvin Nattis from the village of North Hills. Mayor Paul Airbar from the village of Williston Park. Mayor Bob Weitzner from the village of Port Washington. North. Deputy Mayor Kevin Fitzgerald from the village of Floral Park. Judge Scott Fairgrieve. Judge David Goodsell. Judge Erica Prager. National Democratic Committee member Robert Zimmerman. CSEA President Kevin Williams. And Mark Birnbaum, Judge Mark Birnbaum from Great Neck. And, excuse me on this one, Iram Arsani, who is representing the Governor Cuomo this afternoon. I believe I have everybody. I don't.
CSEA President.
Nick Lamore is here, also a CSEA. Where is Nick? Oh, okay, terrific. Now at this point, I would like to bring up Rabbi Whittam to put a blessing on the proceedings.
Dear friends, another year has glided into limbo. The days and weeks and months have pursued one another down the stairway of our lives. Yet, we are grateful for the gift of time, freshly minted from life's treasure house. And not only have we received time, but we're thankful to the Lord for inspiring us, for knowledge that we must gain, reason, kindness, and goodness, so that we use the qualities in our lives in order to serve our community well. And we're grateful for those who have been called to high office in our community, thankful for their genuine commitment to the tasks of providing the best of service for the people. May they be blessed, find blessing, for pursuing high tasks and committing themselves to great goals. Bless too, O Lord, she who has been called to highest office in our community, in our town. We're thankful for her personal qualities of mind and heart and spirit, for she has worked hard to upgrade this community, not only to maintain it, but to upgrade our quality of life. Grateful for her efforts on our behalf, it is our hope and prayer that she will find satisfaction as her reward for all that she does. We are grateful to be Americans, and as patriots, we will never lose faith in the values and institutions of this great land, which are being tested and challenged daily. In spite of spiritual emptiness and moral denigration, the apparent turmoil and upheaval of the present, America must maintain its position as the anchor of international order, so that nations know that they can depend not only upon American prowess, but also upon American goodness. And, O Lord, bless the efforts of all people of good faith, of every nation, color, and creed, knowing that we are bound together beyond any particularism by a more fundamental unity than mere agreement in thought or doctrine can ever create. We're bound by our common humanness, and therefore we must seek to push back all of the walls of darkness in the belief that thou hast commissioned us with a task of turning what is into what ought to be, bringing into being the kind of a world in which thou hast destined that we ought to live, a world to be made one as we believe thou art one. In gratitude for time and thankful for high hope, so we say together, Amen, Amen.
I was just told that Congressman Gary Ackerman is just arrived, there he is. Now we're going to start the administration of oaths. The first person coming up will be Thomas DiNapoli, our New York State Controller. And as he walks up, I just want to say a quick story. Just last week, I was reading in the paper where, because of Tom's active guardianship of all the state's money, they came to justice, a couple who had stolen $800,000 from a daycare center that dealt with children with disabilities. And when you read stuff like that, in my mind, you realize, yes, as controller, he is responsible for the pension plan. But not everybody here participates in that pension plan. But we do participate when fire departments, police departments, schools, all these different places that get state aid take advantage and fraudulently steal the money. And Tom, in his time in office, has saved billions, not millions, billions of dollars. And he is truly a guardian of our resources.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, John Wright. Give John Wright a round of applause for being a great MC. And for reading the papers diligently. Thank you for noticing that. It is great to be back once again for a North Hempstead swearing-in ceremony, standing room only, a real tribute to all of our elected officials who are being sworn in today. It's my privilege to have the chance, once again, to swear in our outstanding supervisor, Judy Bosworth. And I certainly, yes. And offer congratulations to Town Clerk Wayne Week, Councilwoman Viviana Russell, Councilman Angelo Ferrara, Councilmember Lee Seaman, They join a great team of colleagues who are not being sworn in today. Councilmember Peter Zuckerman, Councilwoman Anna Kaplan, Councilmember Dina DeGiorgio, and the guy who pulled such a stunt last week just to build up his name recognition, our great receiver of taxes, Charlie Berman. I finally paid up my mortgage, so now I know what it feels like to write it out to you personally. Let me just say a few words about our supervisor before I call her up and her family for the formal part of the program. It really is a privilege. So many of us know Judy so well. We work with her through her many roles of serving the community, and I'm sure many of you could do this even better than I can. So I'm really touched that once again you've asked me to do the honors. I'm very proud to be a lifelong resident of the town of North Hempstead. We're so happy our guests are here from other parts of the county and beyond, but I think North Hempstead is the best town anywhere. It's a great town. And Judy and her leadership has worked so hard to keep it that way. She, to me, is a role model for all of us in elective office. She's smart. She's tough. She's also compassionate. She's a person of complete integrity and honesty, and someone who really cares about the people that she serves. She came into the position of town supervisor following a very successful 3 terms, I guess, as a county legislator? 4 terms? We all lose track. 3 felt like 4.
Felt like 5.
Felt like 10. And I got to know her first when she served on the Great Neck Board of Education. I think a lot of good things start on boards of education, Josh Lafazan being an example of that. Others too, but I won't mention other names. And it was a great privilege for me to work side by side with her as a colleague in my assembly office when she served on my staff and was our coordinator for special projects on community outreach, did a lot on healthcare and childcare issues. And through that experience, all those experiences, I think we've all come to know that Judy truly is a person who understands what the ideals of public service are all about. We live in a time of great division, great challenge, we all know that. And yet Judy rises above all of the negativity that we find in politics today. She got reelected with over 65% of the vote. That doesn't happen by accident. We got to find where that other 35% are. But the reason we're working on it. But the reason that she won by such a large plurality is that she is not a partisan person. She understands that local government, town government, is that level of government which is certainly closest to the people, where you really can have an impact on the quality of life of your neighbors. So she brought her great experience, her great knowledge, serving in many capacities on behalf of the community, and came into a town that already had a great legacy of leadership and positive action for the community. We think of, I know someone who's been a role model to you, May Newberger, a great town supervisor who we think of with great affection. John Kamen, your predecessor as town supervisor, continued the great work that May began. And when I think of Judy's tenure as town supervisor, it really is taking what already had been really good and making it even better. And doing that at a time of incredible challenge, the impact of the Great Recession, revenue strains at all levels of government, certainly local government, but still the need to provide the best government services at a price that taxpayers can afford. That's a difficult balancing act, and yet she's done it successfully. Putting a priority on customer service, keeping the great environmental legacy that we have in this town as a top priority, understanding the need to network with our community organizations, whether they be focused on childcare or senior programs, helping our youth. You go down a long list. Close relationship with the police in our community. Public safety is an important issue. Tackling important issues relating to infrastructure, be it at Hempstead Harbor Park or the town dock or all the other beautiful parks we have here in North Hempstead. Understanding that the town can't go it alone, building strong relationships with our federal representatives, with our state representatives, leveraging hundreds of thousands, probably millions if you add it all up, in grants that could help the town meet its objective. Understanding that the town needs to create the right environment to encourage citizen involvement, advisory committees, veterans, and other committees, make it easier for people to participate in town board meetings, live streaming of town board meetings. Understanding that issues of access and accountability are very, very important if government is in fact going to have credibility. She's been an innovator. She has a top-notch staff. She has been a fiscal watchdog. Town's credit rating has never been higher, and she's kept it there, dealing with issues like the tax cap and all the other challenges that our local officials have to address. And she's understood that the role of supervisor is very key, but many people don't realize it sounds like an executive position, but in fact, it only works if the supervisor can get the votes and the support of the members of the town council. And not that there's agreement on every single issue, but Judy has really developed a sense of a team spirit and building a consensus among her colleagues in town government. All of that adds up to a great success. And also, for those of us who know Judy, and I look out there and so many of us know you well and know you personally, it's really not just your great expertise as a government official, but just the fact that you're really just an outstanding human being. You are a friend to so many in the community. You have always been there for people, not just if they have a government issue, but if there's a personal issue. You and I have gone through happy times. You and I have gone through personal losses. You've always been there for me. I'd like to think I've always been there for you. You've balanced your public service through all these years with, first and foremost, being a wonderful wife and mother. And I hear you're a really good grandmother, too. Right? Is that true, Andrew? Okay. And Robin? So this is just a quality person in each and every way. So you really make us very, very proud to say that we not only live in North Hempstead with a great team of elected officials, but we live in the town that's headed by an extraordinary human being who, thankfully for all of us, continues to be the supervisor of the town of North Hempstead. It's my privilege to call forward the Honorable Judy Bosworth, and I'll ask her family to come forward as well, so we could do the honors. So we're joined by Dr. Jay Bosworth. Yes, hello, how are you? Dr. Brian Bosworth and his wife Lauren. And we have Andrew and Robin. My God, you guys got so big from when I last saw you. And I know he hates hearing it. He's successful even though he's not a doctor. We have Michael Bosworth, Esquire, and his friend Dave is here as well. And it's a good-looking family, don't you think? Give them another round of applause. All right, so let's make it official. Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Judy Bosworth,
I, Judy Bosworth,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and that I will faithfully discharge
the duties of the office
the duties of the office
of Supervisor for the Town of North Hempstead
of Supervisor for the Town of North Hempstead
according to the best of my ability,
according to the best of my ability.
so help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations, Supervisor Bosworth.
Now that is a hard act to follow. Let's hear it for our great New York State Controller, Tom Bradley. I personally like to introduce Tom as the next governor of the state of New York, but more about Tom. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome and Happy New Year to everybody. I am so honored to have been reelected the Town of North Hempstead Supervisor for the third term. Thank you for the trust and confidence that you have shown in me, and I will not let you down. One of the most exciting things about having been reelected last November was the fact that I'm no longer the solitary woman leader in Nassau County government. So maybe it has something to do with that Wonder Woman movie last year. But what I can tell you, it's going to be girl power in 2018. I congratulate and welcome our new county executive, Laura Curran, and the town of Hempstead's new supervisor, Laura Gillen, to this great team, and I'm looking forward to working together with both of these extraordinary women as they take on these important leadership roles. And if anyone still doubts if a woman can run government, let me just say, we've got this. The past 4 years serving as supervisor has been an adventure, one that I would not change for anything. Well, all right, maybe I would have changed a few things. There could have been a few less snowstorms, maybe a less active end of the year season for our tax receiver's office. But overall, it has been a great ride. But it's a ride that I've not taken alone. When I look out at this audience and on this dais, I see the faces of my teammates, my senior staff, commissioners, deputy commissioners, directors, managers, our unionized workforce, or non-unionized workforce. You are all part of what makes this government team great. And of course, our wonderful North Hempstead residents, who are some of the most engaged and intelligent citizens you could ask for. You inspire us to be the best we can be. So I mentioned our workforce. This would be actually a good opportunity to thank all of the many people who work in the town of North Hempstead, who worked so hard during this blizzard. Whether it was highway or parks or public safety or admin services, all the support people, you managed to make our town stay open with the roads passable, and we all owe you a great debt of thanks. I'm pleased to welcome my colleagues in government, family, friends, and community leaders, our state and county officials, mayors, village trustees, special district commissioners, school board members, school superintendents, as well as leaders of the labor community. We're so grateful that you're all here with us today. So now a special thank you again to our New York State Comptroller, Tom DiNapoli, for joining us and doing me the honor once again of administering my oath of office. To have someone I admire and respect as I do Tom, someone I and my family consider to be an honorary Bosworth, administer the oath of office makes today that much more meaningful, and I thank you so much. But there's a new Tom on the block for us here now today, new in this position. So we have, of course, our new Congressman, Tom Suozzi. Let's hear it for Tom. In such a short time, Tom has already been so committed to all of the residents, but I'd like to thank especially those in North Hempstead, because you have been so helpful and supportive to us on so many issues that have been vital to our well-being. So thank you. And so you've met my family. I'm so happy that my family is here today. Michael and Dave, Brian and Lauren, Andrew and Robin, these grandchildren that just keep getting taller and taller, so they're now taller than I am. I know that's not saying too much, but nevertheless, they are. They are delightful and precious, and when I have conversations with Andrew and Robin about politics and government, I'm amazed at the insight that they have, and I know that I'm looking at future leaders, and I know that our future will be in good hands. So I'm so happy that all of you are here today. And no, I did not forget Jay. Jay, your support and love make the good times happier and the difficult times manageable. Your quiet strength, kindness, and intelligence reassures your patience and fills my heart with joy. You are the love of my life. And so Tom did mention that today we are swearing in 5 town officials. How lucky are we that they're all here with us today again. So I'm so pleased that we're going to be swearing in our town clerk, Wayne Wink. Our first district council member, Viviana Russell. Our third district council member, Angelo Ferrara. And fifth district council member, Lee Seaman. And I would, of course, like to recognize our other town elected officials that are here with us today. Our receiver of taxes, Charles Berman. Councilmember Peter Zuckerman. Councilmember Anna Kaplan. And Councilmember Dina DeGiorgio, who unfortunately was not able to be with us today, but I know she's here in spirit. It is an honor to work alongside all of our town's elected officials, each one of whom contributes so much to the success of our town government. Without each one of their inputs, what we do could not happen. So thank you all. A very special thank you to the members of the clergy and the other officials who took part in our ceremony here today and will continue to do so. We have the New York State Court Officers Ceremonial Unit from Nassau County. They did a great job. Our own North Hempstead Veterans Advisory Committee that works hard every day for the benefit of our veterans. Thank you, Matt Falcone. Vladilina Velatkovich and Minsum Kim of the Long Island Conservancy of Music, who contribute so much to the cultural vibrancy of our town. And my dear friends, Father Bob, Reverend Father Robert Romeo of St. Mary's Catholic Church, Rabbi Robert Whittam of Temple Emmanuel. Thank you both for the lovely words that you said. I know that you've inspired all of us. And we will be hearing from Dr. Isma Chowdhury, President of the Islamic Center of Long Island, also a wonderful friend. And of course, now John, you were already acknowledged, but our MC, John Ryan, who, yeah, let's hear it for John. He's doing a great job today, but he did such a stellar job this past election season, which is why so many of us are here today. Thank you, John. Eleanor Roosevelt said, "With the new day comes new strength and new thoughts." And I'd like to think that this Inauguration Day will be the jumping off point for just that, finding new strength and new thoughts to help move North Hempstead into the future. I believe that over the past 4 years together, we've made great progress by building a solid foundation, a foundation that can support a vision limited only by our imaginations. We're the only town in Nassau County to improve its bond rating in the past few years and achieve a AAA bond rating, the highest rating the town has ever had. We keep talking about that because we are so proud of it. What it means is that we'll get lower interest rates for borrowing, and that saves money for our taxpayers, and that's the goal. The town has also recently approved a 6-year collective bargaining agreement with our Civil Service Employees Association, and I thank Kevin Williams, president of that association today, and Nick Lamort. Now, where is Nick? There he is. Nick Lamort and John Shepherd, such good friends of labor and such good friends of the town of North Hempstead. Thank you so much for being here. We've continued to expand our government's openness and transparency. The town's financial information is more easily, Tom actually gave my speech, but this was a little redo here. Town's financial information is more easily available for our residents to access. We have approved a slate of ethics reforms, and with that, a new anti-nepotism law. We've continued our strong commitment to our infrastructure by adding millions of dollars to our capital plan for road repaving and sidewalk repairs, because our council members heard from our residents, as did I, that was something that was very important to them, and that's why it's in our capital plan. So thank you for all the help that you give us. And one of our biggest projects of the year is staring us in the face, and that's right here at Clinton G. Martin Park, the new pool, which will be opening this summer. And for those, yes? Marietta DiCamillo is clapping because she's part of the pool advisory committee. And so you all should know we're right on schedule. A major part of building this solid foundation has involved expanding and continuing to improve our customer service by responding to all calls and emails that we get each day on a myriad of issues. Other accomplishments in this last term, which I'm proud to include, is our Tobacco 21 legislation, the much anticipated opening of Alvin Petrus Park in Port Washington, and our first, not in our town, Unity and Anti-Hate Conference to address prejudice and intolerance. I also continue to take a strong stance to protect our environment and our drinking water. I will continue to strongly oppose New York City opening up those Jamaica wells, because we have to do everything we can to safeguard our drinking water and protect our aquifers. With this new day, this new year, and a new 2-year term, I have my sights on implementing even more initiatives that will continue to transform our town into one of the best places to live, work, and raise a family. We will be working on the North Hempstead Beach Park redesign, because we want to move from a sea of parking lots to many family-friendly uses. We're going to launch a re-education campaign for our recycling program to improve its effectiveness. We will continue transforming North Hempstead into a more efficient, effective government, one that is fiscally responsible and believes that serving its residents is always our #1 priority. So, we have a full agenda, and we're ready to get to work. I look forward to the challenges of the next 2 years and the honor of working on those challenges together with all of you. I've often said that we're like an extended family here in the town of North Hempstead. Everyone has a seat at the table. North Hempstead government continues to work in a remarkably bipartisan way. We all work together for the good of our residents, and so far that seems to be working pretty well. So again, I thank you for sharing this special day with all of us. God bless you, and God bless America.
The next person coming up is District Court Judge William Hohauser. And just a quick story about William. William's an attorney. And he's an attorney, I think, since 1986 on Wall Street with major firms. But it was his dream to someday be a judge. And when the opportunity came, he left Wall Street, worked hard, and in 2016 was elected to the district court and is making a name for himself, is being respected, and has done a tremendous job. So he's a man who follows a dream, and dreams pay off eventually, and Bill is that example of that. Come on up.
What John doesn't know is that it was not only a dream for me and my family, because my uncle was a judge on that very same court. He used to take me there to watch him when I was a 15-year-old. So it's very emotional when I pass his picture every day at the courthouse. So anyway, my job is very limited. I get to follow Judy and Tom. At least I don't have to follow you, Congressman. That would be even worse. When I received the email describing these proceedings, in my role, the note referred me to Wayne's official bio. And I had a big laugh at that because Wayne and his family over there, I know them all for 20 years, they've been very dear friends of mine. I didn't need to read this bio. Let me tell you two very quick glimpses into Wayne's being, and they'll tell you a lot about the man. In our first campaign together, Wayne was managing John Brooks' state senate campaign. Later that season, two of our staff came to us with scurrilous accusations about our opponent. Without thinking or hesitating for even a moment, Wayne gathered the staff and in no uncertain terms told everyone, no one mentions anything like this to anyone. This is not what we're about. We are here to help, not to hurt, to provide, not to deprive. Wayne meant it then, and he means it now. The second is when Wayne began his first campaigns. As someone with more than slight involvement in these campaigns, and those of you who know what my involvement was, we began throwing out possible campaign names and strategies. Wayne stopped me and said he'd already come up with a committee name. We want Wayne Wink. At first I laughed it off, but then I realized how much sense that made. No one would forget it and people would laugh. And that's true. The man with perfect hair taught me something. As he still does. Wayne understands the meaning of constituent service as well as anyone and truly loves what he does. Those are rare qualities. You cannot replace public servants like Wayne. Instead, we have to treasure them. And one way in which he did was to re-elect him to this position, which he served so well. I'm proud to give his oath to him, my dear friend Wayne Wink. Family, please. Stacy, Jennifer, Edie, Paul, Jewel, Nancy, Wayne. One of the most important members of the family is not here. Snowball.
That's exactly right.
Please raise your right hand. I, Wayne Wink,
I, Wayne Henry Wink Jr.,
do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of Town Clerk
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of Town Clerk
for the town of North Hempstead
for the town of North Hempstead
according to the best of my ability,
according to the best of my ability,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. For those of you who know, when I write speeches, I get kind of stressed. I worry about what I'm going to say, how I'm going to say it, and probably most importantly, how long I'm going to say it. And I know that can be the most difficult of all, is try to keep it brief. But I was reminded just a few days ago that the most stressful speech I am to give this year will happen in about 3.5 months when I'm speaking at Jenny's bat mitzvah. So this is a piece of cake in comparison. Thank you, Bill Hohauser, Judge Hohauser, my good friend, for agreeing to swear me in. As Bill mentioned, we've been friends for nearly 20 years now, and he and his wife Sharon, who's also here today, thank you, Sharon, have always been so supportive and gracious to me and to my family over the years, and I want to thank you both for your friendship. Speaking of families, those of us who are in this business of politics and elective office, we know that when we commit to this field, we're sacrificing our time, our wealth, and occasionally our health, most likely our mental health. But that sacrifice is voluntary, and for some of us it's welcomed, if for no other reason than to feed our own egos. But the sacrifice made by our families is profound and should not be overlooked. Stacy and Jenny have spent many, many hours waiting for me to leave the office, waiting for me to leave an event, waiting for me to get off the phone, waiting for me to get off the computer, waiting, well, you get the idea. I want to thank the two of you for your patience, for your tolerance, and I love you both very much. Thank you so much. The same is true for my father, Wayne Sr., who's here today, my sister Nancy, and my niece Jewel. They have continued to provide me such support throughout my life, and I thank you all very much. I love you. My in-laws, Paul and Edie Vigoda, are here as well, and you have also been incredibly supportive. And during the campaign season, I suspect that you've spent more time with Stacy and Jenny than I get to, and I thank you for that as well. Eileen Kranberg is not only my chief deputy clerk, but she's managed most of my campaigns throughout my tenure, and she's done both incredibly well. Where is Eileen? Yeah, okay, there we go. She continues to be an indispensable part of our success, both governmentally and politically. Eileen, thank you. Nick Guarilia, I knew I was going to mess that one up. Nick Guarilia is also my deputy, and he coordinated the North Hempstead campaigns this year. Like Eileen, Nick is a consummate professional, and he does an outstanding job. Thank you, Nick. I have two young men who work with me who have very bright futures, Brandon Gimpelman and Chase Pagnani. And both of them are younger, taller, and arguably better looking than me. And I've committed myself to making their lives as miserable as I can to compensate for that fact. But seriously, they both work very hard to keep me on time and on task, and I thank you both. I also thank my dedicated, hardworking staff in the clerk's office who accomplish so much each and every day and who tolerate my frequent interruptions into their routine. And their routine is stellar. I also want to take a moment to thank John Ryan, who took the reins of the North Hempstead Democratic Committee at a particularly tumultuous time, and to all the leaders of the town Democratic Committee for your guidance and leadership throughout the campaign season. That sentiment applies as well to Jay Jacobs and the rest of the leadership of the Nassau County Democratic Committee, to Rick Belando, the chair of the Independence Party, and to the leaders of the Working Families Party and the Women's Equality Party for allowing me to represent them on the ballot this past year. Special thank yous, of course, go out to my running mates, the incomparable Judy Bosworth, our great town supervisor, and our outstanding council members, the vivacious Viviana Russell. No one has been better, more aptly named than Viviana, I think, in that regard. And, of course, the legendary Lee Seaman. And while technically Angelo and I didn't run on the same ticket, I've always enjoyed serving with Angelo and working with him, and I look forward to continuing to do so. Thank you, Angelo. I also congratulate my running mates at the county level. Having been at the county, I'm in the middle of step 9, I think, of my 12-step program. But for those of you who are there, I thank you so much. And that begins with our great county executive, Laura Curran, our county controller, Jack Schneerman, our county legislators, all of whom were mentioned, so I'll mention them quickly, Delia, Sila, Ellen, Arnie, and Josh, as well as our candidate this year in the 9th District, Mal Nathan. Congratulations to all of you for your success. And I congratulate our presiding officer, Richard Nicolello, and all of my colleagues on the other side of the aisle for their successful runs this past year as well. Let me also thank my colleagues at the town who weren't on the ballot this past year. Charlie Berman, as Judy mentioned, Charlie braved the holidays, frigid temperatures, and a controversial tax plan from Washington in carrying out his job most admirably. And my colleagues on the town board as well, Peter, Anna, and Dina, the three of you, I've enjoyed working with you, and I look forward to continuing that. Today is a day to celebrate campaign victories hard won, to celebrate our governmental accomplishments of the past 4 years, and to celebrate the hopes for the term ahead. All of these things are worthy of celebration. But most importantly, today is a day to celebrate friendship, camaraderie, teamwork, and family. I'm often reminded that campaigns bring out the best in ourselves and in each other. Working for a cause bigger than oneself often helps develop a sense of community, and it can improve the lives of everyone around us. And on occasions like this, I have to take a moment because I'm reminded of those who can't join us here today. People like my mother and my grandmothers, like my dear friends Barbara Johnson and May Newberger, people who are always so gracious and supportive, not only to me but to the community at large. And it isn't lost on me that so many of my mentors, present company included Judy, are and were women. The late Mario Cuomo once said that we campaign in poetry, but we govern in prose. So before we return to the prose of governing, let me close with one moment of poetry. More to the point, a quotation from William Yeats, whom May Newberger often quoted to express her gratitude at occasions like this. And it seems fitting to mention it today. Yeats wrote, "Think what man's glory most begins and ends, and say my glory was I had such friends." Thank you, my friends. I wish you a happy, healthy, and safe new year. Thank you all so much.
You ready?
Next, I would like to bring up United States Marine Corporal Gary Russell. Just so that there's no confusion, because I was confused, Gary is Viviana's son. And when I saw the name, I thought it was a husband, because I know Gary. And that's why he stands up and goes, "Oh, what are you doing here?" It's a pleasure.
Morning, everyone. Afternoon. I didn't know I was giving a speech today. My initial invitation was you were going to come to New York and swear me in. Okay, cool. Sounds right. About 2 days ago, it was, oh, did you know you had to say a few words? No, I didn't. Okay, so we'll go forward. But as I was sitting down in the audience, I was thinking about what to say. This is the third event that I've been to, so I don't see the impact that she has on the community or what she does on a day-to-day, but I sure do see it when I get home. Always the ride from the airport is, hey, we're going straight home? Yeah, but I got to make a stop. I just want to go straight home, Mom. Yeah, I know, it's going to be quick. Then we see somebody at a stoplight. It's a talk conversation there, 5 to 10 minutes. Then we make this stop, and it's, hey, do you remember so-and-so? Can't say that I do, but put a smile on and I wave. But then I see and I hear what also goes through the community. The Yes We Can Center, people coming up and always having a smile on their face. And I kind of had to learn that she's a mom to everybody. And in the sense that she puts everybody before herself. She'll sit down and talk to people on problems that she may not necessarily be suited for, but she'll find a way to get it done. She'll always find that answer. And that's the person that I speak to, late at night when I have a question on something that I may not have gone through yet. Hey, Ma, what's, your view on this? I may not get the answer right away because we'll end up talking about something else, but by that end of the phone call, I have my answer, or at least know a road to follow. And it's funny because I remember the election night, and I was talking to Travis Troiano that night. I was like, hey, what does your dad do? He was like, he does a lot, and he's really, not home much. And I was like, okay, well, it ain't gonna be that bad. And then I left and I moved down to North Carolina, so I was like, all right, cool. I can't really see what's going on. But I came up before I went to boot camp during Hurricane Sandy, and it was a different woman, a Wonder Woman in that case, as was stated earlier. She literally took the time out to go and make sure everybody is okay. We were driving through the storm to make sure that people that didn't have lights had lights, or people that needed to seek shelter had shelter. And it was weird because I felt bad having to make her leave to drop me off at boot camp. But the qualities and characteristics that she showed made me better as I went forward, because I put people before myself. I'm that person that people come to make decisions. And not only has it helped me to get promoted, but it's also helped me in my civilian career. But one thing I can say is that I don't see the person when I am home and we're up cracking jokes and eating junk food and talking about life and dancing to Follow Me, which y'all should all listen to, by the way. Our family would know that one. But I'm not a person for long speeches, but all I can say is y'all are great to have her in this role to be a mom to the community like I do. And on that note, if I believe it's okay, I'm going to call my siblings up, Amani and Malachi, my parents, and my aunt and uncles, wherever they are, spread out here everywhere. And we can get her sworn in. I, Viviana Russell,
I, Viviana Russell,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of New York,
and the Constitution of New York,
and I will faithfully discharge
and I will faithfully discharge
the office of council member
the office of council member
for the town of North Hempstead,
for the town of North Hempstead,
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability. So help me God. Good afternoon, everyone. So my brothers and sister are laughing because I am the big crybaby in the family. So I first want to thank God for this day. I'd like to thank my husband, Gary, who is my soulmate, my lover, my best friend, and my everything. The one who stays up with me to 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning when phone calls come in because a water main may have broken, or if someone just calls and needs my assistance, he's there to take me to where I need to go. So Gary, thank you. To the young adults and adolescents who I'm so overjoyed to call my children and who call me mom, my congenial, wonderful son who just swore me in, United States Marine Corps Corporal Gary K. Russell Jr. My daughter Imani, who is giving us our first 2 grandchildren. She's pregnant with twins. And my first campaign manager, my baby, Malachi. You all are the wind beneath my wings. I could not do this without your support. Thank you so much for sharing me with everyone. My siblings, my big little sister Anita, she's 2 years older than me, but I think I'm the big sister. To my brothers, Ruben, Lorenzo, Augustine, and Jose, thank you so much for keeping me grounded. Thank you for reminding me of who I am, your little sister Anna, when I'm not serving the public. To my Bishop Harvey and my First Baptist Cathedral family, thank you so much for your prayers and your fellowship. To Isma Chaudhry and Habib Ahmed from the Islamic Center of Long Island, thank you so much for your support in and outside of the community. To Robert Triano, who is not here today, he's celebrating his son's birthday today, who I met 13 years ago out of a very challenging and adversarial situation, saw something in me, and then 9 years ago tapped me on the shoulder to run for this office. I thank you. To Legislator Sheila Bino, who could not be here today as well, I thank her for her faithfulness, her political and friendly sisterhood. The Friends of Viviana Russell team, my sister Anita, Imani, Jeffrey, Lynn, and Jenny,
the team that holds me all together throughout the campaign season. To my North Hempstead Democratic Committee family, John Ryan, our chairman, Nick Gorelia, Eileen Cranberg, Jim Moran, and Ian Steinberg, and all the people behind the scenes who make the political side of this look easy, and we know that it's not. Thank you. And all those who walk with me door to door, day in and day out, who made phone calls, who got petitions signed, Joseph, JL, Nishawn, Sabrina, Jeremy, Anita, Gary, Terry Ann, Mike, and all the other volunteers, I appreciate you. To Richard Burton, who has helped me get through the last 7.5 years in office, and to Howard Bassett, who now keeps me on time and on task and keeps our office running smoothly. Thank you. To Assemblyman, go ahead, you can talk. I'm getting all of my thank yous out of the way so I don't forget anyone. To Assemblyman Levine, who gave me a front row seat to how government is supposed to work when he gave me the opportunity to work in his office as his constituent liaison. To all of our distinguished elected officials that are here today, this is the year of the woman. I look forward to working with you, those that I have worked with in the past, and to develop new relationships with those that I have not. To our senior councilwoman, Dorothy Gooseby, thank you for paving the way as the first African-American woman ever elected on Long Island. Thank you so much for paving the way. And it's imperative that we acknowledge our workforce. Everyone within the town of North Hempstead who makes things run. For those who spent the last few days, countless hours with no sleep, making sure that our roadways were clear and our sidewalks were in safe conditions, I thank you so much for your tireless work. Our Commissioner Joe Gerasi, Commissioner Sean Brown, Jill Weber, and all of the commissioners, Pete Holder from Admin Services, I thank you all for your tireless efforts. For Community Services that set up this afternoon's program for us, I thank you as well. To our receiver of taxes, I have the pleasure of working with you, the man who collects all of your taxes, Charlie Berman. And to Wayne Wink, congratulations on your reelection, the man who keeps record of all of those taxes, our record keeper for the town. And to this auspicious body of elected officials that I have the pleasure of working and serving with. Supervisor Judy Bosworth and the members of our town board, Lee Seaman and Angela Farrar, congratulations on your reelection. To Anna Kaplan, Peter Zuckerman, and Dina DeGiorgio, who could not be here today, I thank you for allowing me to grow with you. I thank you for the tough decisions that we have to make, and I thank you for allowing me to step outside of my comfort zone at times, and you hear me. We have our differences of opinion, but we seek a common goal across the aisle, and this is what makes us a better body of government. And to the people I am most humbled by, I thank the people of the 1st District of the town of North Hempstead for your vote of confidence in me. And for those who chose not to vote for me, I hope to gain your confidence as I commit to serve and work together with you through the good and tough challenges over the next 4 years. It's a great responsibility that takes sacrifices, and we make those sacrifices because it is necessary. It is something that I do not take lightly. I vow to continue to sow into our community by strengthening the bonds among our residents and government, overcoming our obstacles, and welcoming new ideas. Given the opportunity to say thank you to a large group of people, I always have to include my parents and my Aunt Baber. All three who are now deceased, but they would be so proud of the fact that I am the first African-American woman to ever be elected in North Hempstead. Because they have instilled in me the virtues by which I live today. My father, an immigrant from Cuba with only a 6th grade education, was the wisest person I have ever known. He did not allow his lack of education, of a formal education, to stop him from being our math teacher, an entrepreneur, the epitome of a provider and protector, and an awe-inspiring, sagacious, and revered father. My mother, who grew up in the South in an era where black women were treated less than second-class citizens, often seen as a very meek person, but she knew how to pray before saying anything. Not because she didn't know what to say, but because sometimes your silence speaks louder than your words. My parents taught me to solve problems in a way that best suits the needs of those you are given a responsibility to look after. My aunt, who in the face of any adversity took the high road to improve herself first so that she would be better equipped to serve others. These are life lessons, blessings, and experiences that I apply to my daily work as a councilwoman to make government work for the people I serve. Because at the end of the day, the people of Westbury, Newcastle, Carl Place, and the village of Old Westbury, my community is an extension of my family. God bless you, and thank you.
Just one thing on behalf of Supervisor Bosworth. In her remarks, she left out Commissioner Kimberly Galante, who is responsible for putting this whole thing together today. And she just wanted to bring that to everybody's attention. Now we're going to be bringing up New York State Senator Elaine Phillips. And as we bring up Elaine, I just want to say a few things. Within the town, I do the Project Independence and You radio program, which is focusing on seniors, and I'm involved in Project Independence. Elaine, I'm also the president of the Great Neck Social Center, which was the Great Neck Senior Center. And Elaine, in her office, has come there, has supported the place, has done a scamming program, and for that, I want to thank you, and I want to let everybody know the job you do.
Ready? Good. So good afternoon, everyone, and thank you very much for having me here today. It truly is an honor. First of all, congratulations to all of you. A special congratulations to Judy. Judy, the only thing I can say on behalf of all the great residents of the town of North Hempstead, thank you. Thank you for your continued dedication, for your hard work. My husband saw you there the other day, and for caring about our community. It's truly appreciated. I used a phrase at the swearing in for the Nassau County Legislature the other day, and I looked at our new county executive, and I think it's so appropriate for today also. So Judy, all I can say is good women make for good government.
There you go.
So today I have the honor to swear in a man who has dedicated his life to his family, Pat, and their 5 children and multiple grandchildren, and to his community, Angelo P. Ferrara. Angelo will begin his 4th term as a representative of the 3rd Council District. And although he represents only the 3rd Council District, I think everyone that knows this man knows that he represents all the people of the town of North Hempstead. So thank you, Angelo. And especially Angelo has put his focus on our veterans and our seniors. And for any of you that have ever gone to Fun Day Monday, which is one of my favorite things to do, is you will see, if you walk around with Angelo, he truly is a rock star. A rock star. Everyone wants to hug Angelo, and Angelo hugs everyone. And I will say, in particular, the women love him there. They absolutely love him. It's quite cute. Really is quite neat. Angelo understands fiscal responsibility. He understands the importance of economic growth. And he understands, most importantly, how to be a member of a team. I think several of you have said it today. If we can't work together as a team, our residents of the town of North Hempstead will get nothing. This is an amazing team, and they all deserve a huge round of applause. Angelo has been a friend to me, and as importantly, a mentor to me. I'm truly honored to be swearing him in today. And as the Reverend and the Rabbi said today, may God give you all the wisdom, the kindness, and the humility to run our great town. I now have the honor to swear in Councilman Angelo P. Ferrara.
Have my family come up. 5 of my family members couldn't be here. 4 of them live in Texas, couldn't make the trip. But everybody else is here.
It was a great answer.
Now, I know I'm in trouble also with my wife about all the hugging and
Good. We have to come on, little ones. Get you up front and center. There we go. Look at Dapper here. So raise your right hand, please. I
I, Angelo Ferrara,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America
that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and I will faithfully discharge
and I will faithfully discharge
the duties of council member
the duties of council member
for the town of North
for the
Hempstead,
town of North Hempstead,
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Congratulations,
Thank you.
Angela.
So help me God. Thank you, Elaine, Senator. It was an easy task for me to pick her to be the one who does the swearing in for me today, because in the short period of time she's been in the position she has as state senator, she's really left her mark on the entire community. And I thank you so much for taking the time out today, for all you do for the state, for this community, and thank you for everything you do. Thanks. And I'd like to thank all of you for coming out here today. It's a little chilly, but we appreciate you coming out. And I found out a couple of things. One, I'm in the dying breed in government. Peter and I are like on our way out. We really have been used to this. This is something new to the county, and this is something new to the town of Hempstead. But we've been used to this in North Hempstead. We've been in a minority forever, almost. But it's really so great looking around the audience and seeing so many Republicans here. I won't mention your names. You could keep it a secret, but we appreciate the fact that you're here today. But this has been an experience since 1997 for me. And I made a lot of people, made a lot of friends, good relationships, and really always tried to do the right thing for the community. With Judy coming in, we have a special relationship. I don't think any Republican or Democrat confides as much as we do in each other and really works for the good of the community, not putting any party first, but people first. And that's what we all should do. I'd like to congratulate all of the other people who won the election and those who didn't also for a hard try. But Viviana, I got to tell you a little story about Viviana. Before she ran for office, there was Robert Troiano was the councilman. And when he first got sworn in, he got up and he presented every other elected official that won that year with a gift. It was a little book with some good sayings in it. And it was really nice, but I had to speak after him, and I was kind of at a loss, and I said, I really didn't bring anything, but I do have something that I forgot to bring, and it will be on all of your desks tomorrow morning. It was a re-elect Ferrara pen. Now, fast forward, when Viviana ran for office and won, I grabbed her and I said, you know, there's a tradition here that you have to follow. And she said, well, what is that? I said, well, when Robert Triano first got sworn in, he presented a gift to every other person that won the election that year. So, and I said, and you have to do the same thing. So what did he give you? I said, a Rolex. True story, right?
And what did I give you?
And she did. She came in with a pen and pencil. It wasn't a Rolex, but it was good. But welcome back, Vivian.
Thank you.
Lee Seaman, she had a little difficulty this year. She lost somebody very close to her. Her husband died, and he was really a great man. We spent a lot of time together, and it was really just a great loss for her family, for us, and for the town. And so to run a campaign while you're going through that and the emotions that behind that just shows the dedication and caliber of person she is to make that all happen. And Lee, congratulations. Wayne is like an icon as the town clerk. He's always there and always there to help anybody at any time, any place. He really has been phenomenal in his job, and I don't think there was much question that he would be reelected. And welcome back to your job as well. The receiver of taxes was not up this year, but he got a new wardrobe right after all of the tax money came into the town. I don't want to throw it. But he's just done a terrific job, and I got to tell you, that was a Herculean job to be able to collect all of those monies in that short a period of time, get it done and get it done right, and congratulations on a job well done. Judy is really special up here in the town. I think that it's very difficult to find anyone that has anything bad to say about Judy Bosworth. She is such a kind, giving person, cares about everybody, and you can see it with the Love Within family, but cares about everybody and makes sure that whatever their needs are, that they're fulfilled. And she's a pleasure to work with, and we're going to do even greater things going forward in the town of North Hempstead.
Here, here.
Okay. My family, you saw them all come up here, those who are here, have always been there for me in support and shown me the love, the concern that I needed to keep going in this job, and especially my wife. Last year, we celebrated our 50th anniversary. And somehow, they always have a way of getting me. Because we said we weren't going to have a party. We were just going to take all of the kids and grandkids and go away on a vacation. So after months of haggling and not being able to come up with a date, I said, that's it, I'm done. We're having a party. So we had a party at the Chateaubriand. We hired the Capri's doo-wop show. For an hour and a half between the cocktail hour and the dinner, we had a doo-wop show, which was phenomenal. Okay? Judy helped us. We redid our vows, and she participated in that. And it was just a terrific, terrific affair. So after that was all done and I got the bill, the kids came up with a date. So I had to wind up taking everybody to Disney World, 18 of us, and then I got the bill for that. So that's why I keep running for office. But I would like to thank all of the people that put their confidence in me, because, quite honestly, it wasn't only Republicans that voted for me. There were a lot of people that voted for me that were Democrats, independents, conservatives, that really know that I put people first. Not a party, the people. And if we do the right thing for the people, that is the right thing for our party, regardless of what party it is. And we need to do more and more of that. I have never seen this country more polarized than it is right now. And we need to change that. We need to come back to the center. And I think how that starts, and we try to do some of it here in the town, having a program called Tolerance, and asking people to be more tolerant of each other. But I don't know if that's the right word. Because tolerance, if you think about it, means I'm tolerating your differences. Maybe it should be acceptance. Maybe I should accept those differences. Whether those differences have to do with your religion, whether they have to do with your ethnicity, or whether they have to do with your political persuasion. We need to come together. We need to respect each other like they used to do. We all had differences, but we tried to work on those differences, bringing people together, coming up with something for the common good, and making it better for everybody. So the challenge for us in Congress, and in state, and even locally, is to do that same thing. I think we have a leg up on it here, because I don't think that the politics exist like it does someplace else. But we've worked very hard for that. And I would ask all of you to work as hard at whatever level of government you're in, whether it's the county, the state, or the federal government. Because we can do it, and we have to do it. America is relying on us to do it. To the other people that have been supportive of me, the unions, the AFL-CIO, I have gotten their endorsement every time I've run for office. CSEA, IBEW, Nick, my friend back here. You know, it's really been, in my view, a labor of love for me to do what I do. And I think that comes across to the people in knowing that whatever I do it from my heart. You notice I don't have any papers in front of me. I never write a speech. Whatever I have to say is coming from my heart. So I want to thank you for the confidence that you all put in me over the years. I want to thank you for the support. God bless you all. God bless America.
In 1973, Lee Majors starred the role in The $6 Million Man. I already introduced Tom, so now we're going to bring him up, our $1 billion man, Tom DiNapoli.
Just for the record, for our public employees, the pension fund is $200 billion, not $1 billion. So the pensions are in good shape. I'm pleased to be back. Congressman Swazi said, Tom, you got to be brief. I generally don't listen to Tom Swazi, so I'm not going to start now. And frankly, this is for Lee Seaman. I'm not giving her short shrift, and I don't think anybody wants me to, right, Lee? You know, it's really been an extraordinary afternoon. You've all been a wonderful, patient audience. Say to the senator, what a source of pride to have this great group as our town officials. It says a lot about council districts as well, working terrifically to bring diverse opinions and backgrounds. Give everybody a round of applause for our town officials. Lee. It's like Madonna, like Cher. It's Lee. When we talk about North Hempstead and Lee. I first met Lee, I think it was 1971. No, I won't take 45 years worth of stories, don't worry. And of course, you were organizing a meeting to help a bunch of other folks. I think it was for Ellie Talisman and Shelley Lobel, running that year for town office. And that 45 years or so, we've certainly worked together, gotten to know each other, been there for each other, once in a while on opposite sides, but always ending up in the same place, always there for each other. You know, Lee is just an extraordinary citizen of our community, a community of many active, involved, caring, engaged, successful, creative people. You know, Lee has given so much to the community decade after decade. When our good friend Tony Durso wasn't going to serve on the council anymore, and the party had to look for someone to fill his big shoes, Lee's name came up. And a lot of folks said, well, Lee, she's always helping everybody else. She doesn't do that herself. And I think some people were a little surprised when she was approached. In fact, she was very interested in running for a seat on the town council and in serving. Because I think for Lee, her time to serve on the town board was an opportunity for, her life and her involvement to come full circle. She moved here in the 50s, got active through the kids in the schools, got active in the Democratic Party. I think the Stevenson campaign, one of them, was one of the first involvements. Giving back to the community in so many ways, longtime active member of her Temple community, lifetime member of the NAACP, active, as I said, in the schools when her kids were younger, a leader on the Great Neck Chamber of Commerce, program director since, I think, 1975. Small businesswoman, licensed insurance agent. I placed my homeowner's policy through Lee Seaman, just for the record. Certainly, being involved in the Democratic Party and viewing her involvement in the Democratic Party not as a source of division, as others have talked about the way our politics is today, but rather a vehicle for positive change in the larger community, whether that was at the national level, the state level, or the local level. She's got more pictures with more Democratic presidents, senators, members of Congress, let alone local officials, than anybody I know. Yet there's not a partisan bone in her body when it comes to working with people. Angela, she says nice things about you on a regular basis. When I was I had the privilege to participate in the swearing in for our great Hempstead Councilwoman Dorothy Gooseby, Supervisor Gillen sat me next to Joe Mondello. It was okay. I got along with Joe. And I mentioned I was coming to the North Hempstead swearing in, and I said, Joe, Lee Seaman ran again, and she's going to be sworn in. He said, oh, give her my best regards. I really respect Lee Seaman. I think she's terrific. And then he looked at me and said, does that surprise you to hear me say that? I said, no, you've said that to me before. But that's Lee Seaman, someone who truly has earned the respect and the recognition from all sides of the political aisle. She's a fighter when she has to be. Back in the old days, she had to fight in a primary to be a Democratic committee woman for her election district. Talk about ancient history, right? And her time to serve on the town board, not only to look out for her neighbors in Great Neck, particularly in the unincorporated neighborhoods of Great Neck, but making a particular point to get to know her constituents in New Hyde Park and in Floral Park. Mariana, whenever you call, believe me, she returns that call right away. There is no part of her district that isn't equally important to her. She goes to every event that she can get herself to. Lee is an international figure, as we know, serves on a presidential commission. Gary Ackerman helped her stay there. I don't know if you were the congressman when she got there, but you helped her stay there. So she gets to go to Poland and Latvia. She gets to travel to Israel as part of her important work. And yet for Lee, it all comes back to the neighborhood that she and Murray moved to from Queens, where they decided to raise their family and put down their roots. With all that she has done internationally, all the time she spent helping national figures, statewide figures, her love is of the local community. And I think we all know, those of us who know Lee, is that she puts her all into her public service. And Angelo said it beautifully. She had a tough year this year. Wasn't able to campaign, wasn't able to get out there as she normally would. She had to attend to things at home with Murray. And Lee, in spite of that, because people have known you and respected you and valued you for decades, in that sense, the fact that you couldn't be an active campaigner, it really didn't matter. You had 57% of the vote. I think you had more votes this time than last time, because people, especially in those parts of your district that didn't know you as well as your friends in Great Neck, they really have come to admire you and to value you. And you are someone who just doesn't stop. Some have said, well, Lee, she's running again? Well, yeah, she is, because she really loves what she's doing. Lee is not someone who would ever sit on the sidelines. And she does her public service still, looking out for her friends, for her family, still always be there to help people, not just her constituents, but to help any of us who are involved in the political world who need a smart person, a person who has endured as a leader and a respected figure in our party and our community for these many, many years. You know, I know it's hardly not to have your partner of over 60 years here, but I know how proud Murray was of your service on the town council. Because, of course, Murray was never shy about expressing himself, so we heard him say that on a number of occasions. And just know, Lee, that as proud as Murray has been of all that you've done, particularly your elective service on the North Hempstead Town Council, as you embark on your 4th term of office, right, as a member of the Town Council, we all are equally proud of you. We don't know where you get the energy, but you get it. We know where you get the commitment. And that's because in a place with a lot of special people, I personally can't think of anybody that has a bigger heart or more generous spirit than you. How lucky we all are, how lucky that I live in your council district to be able to continue to call you the Honorable Lee Seaman, member of the North Hempstead Town Council. Come forward so we can swear you in formally. Raise your right hand. I, Lee Seaman,
I, Lee Seaman,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and that I will faithfully discharge
that I will faithfully discharge
the duties of the office
the duties of the office
of council member
of council member
for the town of North Hempstead
for the town of North Hempstead
according to the best of my ability,
according to the best of my ability,
so help me God.
so help me God.
It's official.
Hello, everybody. I'm so proud to be here, and thank you all for being here. So I'll tell you the real truth. I was up and down about running. What should I do? It's starting in with my age, and they're going to go into all of that stuff. Well, I didn't like it, but my husband said, Lee, you like it, do it. And I want to tell you something. It's really all about you. My people in the town of North Hempstead. I loved everything I do with you, with the trees, the sidewalks, the snow, anything I could do to help is the things that I like to do. I'm a most fortunate person, and I am fortunate for Judy Bosworth, my supervisor. For John Ryan, my Democratic leader. Thank you, John. And Nick and all the people that helped in the campaign. So I'm looking at you. There's no way I could have left this position of being involved in this community, in this town of North Hempstead, which is the best in the United States. There's no place like this. And all the elected officials that I've had the opportunity to ever work with. Tom Swazi, Tom DiNapoli, my friend from the year one. Tony Durso, all those years we worked together in the Democratic Party. Ellen Birnbaum, who we worked together so nicely. And the town board. I wasn't leaving you.
Thank you.
Thank you. This town gives so much to the people because of who runs this town. Judy Bosworth. And Wayne Wink, that wonderful person. We love working with him. And Charlie Byrne, didn't he do a great job with the taxes? Thank you. And so I'm the last one to speak. I'm not going to be long, but I wanted you to know, all of you, what an honor it has been to work with you here. Working with you has been wonderful in my life. And I want to thank my husband, Murray. He told me to run. He was my inspiration. He told me everything, what to do, and that's the way it should be done. And I listened. And so I'm going to say good evening. I loved it. I love this job. I'm so happy. You should know that. I'm a happy woman. I do want to thank a few people in the area. The Islamic Center, thank you. I enjoyed working with you, with all the things that happened. The Babylonian Synagogue, are you there? There you are. Was it many years, 12 years we worked together. And in general, there were many more people, the Indian community, and we're lucky here. We have so many wonderful people, the Persian community, the Indian community. We are fortunate. So again, I'm going to thank you all that I could be with you for the next 4 years. I'm a lucky person. Thank you very much. Thank my wonderful assistant, Suzette Gray. Suzette, you there? You did a great job. Thank you.
You know, when you don't write a script, sometimes you forget something. And I forgot something. Kay Farrell is my aide, and she has just been terrific, not only within my office, but throughout the town. She's so helpful to everybody, and I just wanted to give her a shout out. Thank you.
At this time, I'd like to bring up for the benediction Dr. Isma Shodroy.
Good afternoon. May the peace and blessings of God Almighty be with all of us. By the time it's time for benediction, all is said. However, I will say that prayers are never redundant. And the other hopeful thing is that Congressman Swazi did not tell me to cut it short. So I will. My heartiest congratulations to Supervisor Town of North Hempstead, Judy Basworth, Town Clerk Wayne Wink, and the honorable council members. Congratulations. Keeping up with the Abrahamic traditions, we have to offer the glory to God and then seek the blessings. I will share the English translation of chapter 1, verse 1 through 7 from the revealed Muslim scripture, Quran. In the name of God, the entirely merciful, the specially merciful. All praise is due to God, Lord of the worlds, the entirely merciful, the specially merciful, sovereign of the day of judgment. You alone we worship, you alone we ask for help. Guide us onto the straight path, the path of those whom you have bestowed favor, not the path of those who went astray. Dear friends, one of the great leaders of all times was Prophet Abraham, peace and blessings on him, the progenitor of the three Abrahamic faiths. Prophet Abraham possessed traits which are invaluable assets to individuals desiring to become leaders. He was blessed with charisma, vision, wisdom, courage, humility, a strong sense of justice, and I pray that these great attributes of leadership be instilled in the individuals serving public office. Let's humble our hearts and pray. Dear Sovereign of the universe, Please accept our gratitude in every name we call upon you, including God, Yahweh, Elohim, Allah, Ishwar, and in the name of all your blessed prophets. God Almighty, we humble ourselves, bow our heads, and pray for your blessings on these individuals who have affirmed their commitment to serve. God, bless them with your guidance. Bless them with the foresight and patience, and install wise counselors around them. God, as these leaders affirm their commitment to serve your people, their families are making sacrifices. Their families and them, bless them for the personal sacrifices, and make these sacrifices assets in their favor. Give them the strength and the fervor to overcome the challenges and lead justly, guided by virtue and fairness. Inspire and guide them to show kindness and compassion to those most vulnerable in the society. May they walk with humility and compassion. Grant them with the depth and capacity to see the humanity and dignity in those who disagree with them. Dear Creator, we thank you for enriching our nation, our country, and our town with diversity and people for different races, nationalities, ethnicities, orientations, languages, cultures, and religions. Grant them with the acumen and sagacity to respect diversity as they take decisions affecting the welfare of our town and county, and deal kindly and justly with all our diverse communities that make our town, our country, and our country so beautiful. God Almighty, enhance the well-being of our town, our county, our country, and the world, and accept this prayer from us. Indeed, you are all-hearing and all-knowing. Amen.
That basically concludes our program. I just want to say one thing, and when Judy was sworn in the first time, which was 4 years ago, I was sitting in the emergency room at Northwell, my wife. Our plan was to come here, but she slipped. If you remember, there was that terrible ice storm. She slipped and broke her wrist, so that's where we were sitting. 2 years ago, when Judy was sworn in the second time, I was sitting in the audience. Now, Judy's being sworn in the third time, I'm sitting here next to her. When she gets sworn in 2 years from now, I'm curious where I'm going to be sitting. I have no idea. But what I really want to say to all the electeds, this was my first year as chair of the party going through the town with the campaign. Republican and Democrat alike, the amount of dedication you give for these jobs to protect the people, to work for the people, and to do everything is amazing. And that's how we're ending our program with a round of applause for every elected